In the history of combat sports, eras don't end quietly, they collapse under the weight of something new. A challenger. A disruptor. A force that refuses to fit inside tradition. For decades, boxing belonged to warriors raised in sweat-soaked gyms, men built from nothing but hunger, discipline, and pain. But then came the age of followers, algorithms, and influence. A world where attention is currency, and one man weaponized it like no one before. Jake Paul. Loved. Hated. Mocked. Respected. A man who turned controversy into power, and power into opportunity. A digital star who crossed over into a world built on blood, and refused to step back. Opposite him stands a silent storm. A fighter molded by struggle and sharpened by survival. Baltimore's chosen, and most feared son. Gervonta "Tank" Davis. A man who didn't rise through fame, but through fire. For Jake, Tank is the final gate. The test that either crowns him, or crushes him. Tank is not like the others. Not an MMA striker. Not a retired legend. Not a spectacle match. Tank is precision. Tank is patience. Tank is power coiled behind silence. Ask fighters. Ask coaches. They don't describe Tank's punches as hits, they describe them as punctures, power that breaks a man from the inside. Jake knows this. And still, he walks toward the storm. Because every era has that moment, when legacy demands risk. Boxing once belonged to legends cut from granite, Ali, Tyson, Mayweather, men who bled for the right to speak. Then came a new language, virality. Headlines mattered more than rankings. Fans traded history books for TikTok clips. The sport shifted, brutally, suddenly. And Jake Paul didn't follow the change. He became the change. He didn't climb the ladder, he built a new one. To the purists, he was a threat. To the youth, an icon. To the business, a financial storm. And whether loved or despised, one truth stands: Jake Paul made the world watch boxing again. Jake Paul grew up in a world of cameras, streaming, clicks and chaos. His hunger wasn't born from poverty, but from ambition. Not from survival, but from proving something deeper, that belief can break rules. That dreams don't wait for permission. That destiny bends to obsession. Tank Davis, his story begins far from lights and luxury. Broken streets. Sirens in the night, a place where boys become soldiers too soon, or disappear before they get the chance. Tank didn't want fame. He wanted escape. He didn't chase glory. He chased life beyond the struggle. And to get it, he fought through every barrier, inside and outside the ring. If Jake wins, he doesn't just beat Tank. He conquers the sport's oldest gatekeepers. He becomes a symbol of a new world, where fame and skill coexist. If Tank destroys Jake, order is restored. Old school reign stands. And boxing reminds the world, you can't algorithm your way into greatness. This isn't about money anymore. This isn't about YouTube versus boxing. This isn't even influencer culture versus legacy fighters. This is about evolution versus tradition. Respect versus disruption. Disbelief versus destiny. Camera flashes. Press tables. Breathing tension. Jake speaks first, as he always does. He's easy work. When we step in that ring, he's going down. He sells the fight. He sells confidence. He sells inevitability. Tank doesn't talk back. He watches. Cold. Focused. To him, the ring is truth. And truth doesn't need volume. He think this a game, he gonna feel something he ain't never felt. One man wins with words. The other with silence. Two strategies, one battlefield. There are fights. There are events. And then, there are confrontations that decide eras. History doesn't whisper here. It roars. This isn't just a match. This is boxing's identity crisis, and rebirth. Legacy versus influence. Talent versus disruption. Gervonta Davis vs Jake Paul. Only one leaves with truth. Only one leaves with history. And the world will never view boxing the same again. Gyms echo with leather and breath. Cameras watch. Fans argue. Trainers push. Tank sharpens his timing, a blade getting ready to cut through hype. Jake builds endurance, eyes wild with obsession, courage rising with each spar. One man defending a throne. One man fighting to build his own. Two paths. One ring. A moment where every doubt, insult, belief, and dream meets reality. And when that, they will finally learn what the world has wondered: is Jake Paul a manufactured star, or a force we underestimated? Is Tank Davis unbeatable, or destined to fall to the most unlikely challenger of his era?